interactive, and pure object-oriented programming language. Interpreted means every line, what every statement can be executed. Interactive, we can easily interact with the interpreter, and so that we can able to see every step execution. And it is a pure object oriented programming language. Pure object oriented programming means everything is object in Python. Let us go further. So in the outline we'll be discussing entering expression into interactive shell, the integer, floating point, and the string data types, string concatenation and replication, storing values in variables, our first program, then flow control, Boolean values, comparison operators, and then mixing Boolean and comparison operators, elements of flow control, program execution, flow control statements, importing the modules, and then ending a program early with the system.exit, then functions and define statements with parameters, returning the value, returning the statements, the none value, keyword arguments, local and global scope, global statement, exception handling, and the short program gets the number. Let us go one by one, understand what are the features of Python. Python is a dynamic, high-level, free, open source, and interpreted programming language. So it is easy to code, it's free and open source, it's object-oriented language, and graphical user interface programming support. It's a high-level language. That is, it has extensible feature, and it is a portable language. Portable means it can be run in the different platforms. So first we go with the entering expressions into the interactive shell. So whenever we try to provide the statement or write the statement or the command we are going to execute. So we need a platform. We call it as integrated development and learning environment. So that is launched, that is with the help of the interactive shell. So we run the interactive shell by launching IDLE. So on Windows, we open the start menu and then we select all programs and then select the GUI, that is the Python GUI IDLE, that is integrated development and learning environment. And then once we do that, so we can see a prompt that has appeared in the interactive shell. So we can see in the screen. So this is the way the interactive shell it is going to open for us. So here next to this prompt, so we'll be typing the commands or the instructions. So we can observe here. So when we write 2 plus 2, so we can see that this particular expression is get executed and we got the result as 4. So next we focus on what are the different arithmetic operators are used in order to create the expressions, and then how the expression is evaluated, or we can say the executed in Python. So the operators include, that is the exponent operator. So we also refer it as the power of the number. For example, 2 to the power of 3, that is evaluates to 8. Similarly, modulus or the remainder, that is nothing but when we divide a number, so what about the remainder value we are going to get? So that is considered as the result of the mod operation. Then integer division or floated quotient. It means whenever we divide a number, so we are not considering the mantissa part. So we are neglecting the digits that is after the point. So we are considering only the digits which are before the point. That is integer division, which is represented by 2 forward slashes, and then the division operation. So division operation in Python, that is the default is floating type. That is whenever we divide a number, then we use the single forward slash and then it results into a floating point value. That is we are using both characteristic and then mantissa part, and then multiplication. So we can observe here. So the result, and similarly the subtraction and then addition operation. So whenever we provide these expression into the interactive shell, so once we execute, so we can see the result. So our language understands the data. So there is no need to explicitly say it is an integer data, floating data, or we are not going to describe any type of data here because your programming language knows about data. So let us explore further operators. That is, we can observe here, that is the complement operator, unary plus, unary minus. So this we have already discussed. And then the right shift and then left shift operator, that is the bitwise left shift and right shift operator, bitwise AND operator, bitwise exclusive or the regular OR operation, and the comparison operation like less than or equal to, less than, greater than or equal to, then equality operators, and then the assignment operators that we will discuss in the further, and then identity operators, that is or is not, and then membership operators, in, not in, logical operators, not, or, and operators. So let us explore one by one. Whenever we try to observe, whenever the expression has been given, for example, 2 plus 3 into 6. So it has evaluated and we got the result as 20. So here we have to observe. So whenever we try to use the operators, so it is going to observe here that as it follows a concept called what? Precedency, or the importance of the operator. For example, the multiplication symbol got higher precedence than what? The plus symbol, means multiplication operation got higher precedence than the addition operation. So that is why first the operation 6 into 3 get executed, and then the result that is added with the value 2, that is 6 into 3 is 18 plus 2, that is 20. So this is the result we got. So now how to change this precedence? So what we are going to do, so we are going to provide the parenthesis. So whenever we encounter a parenthesis in the expression within the parenthesis get executed first. So we can observe here it is 2 plus 3, that is 5, and then it is multiplied with 6. The result is 30. So similarly, this multiplication operation we can observe here. So the values are multiplied and we got the results. And then here we can observe we have used the exponential operation, that is 2 to the power of 8, that is 256, and it is 23 divided by 7. Since it is a single forward slash, it is a floating point division. And then 23, that is integer division, that is we are dividing by 7. So we can see we have neglected the integer part. So we have used only the digits, that is prior to the point. And we can observe here that is whenever we use the mod operation, so whatever the remainder is there, so the remainder value we are going to obtain. Similarly, when we do the addition operation, it is 4. And then whenever the expressions are to be evaluated like this, for example, we can observe here. So we got a parenthesis, and then we have got one more parenthesis and the expression within this, and then we got the result as this. So let us observe so how this can be evaluated. So now this expression has been given. So now let us understand how Python is going to operate this. So we can observe here. So we have all the parentheses. So whenever the operators, they have the equal precedence. So then what we are going to do, so we are going to evaluate from left to right. So first this particular expression is considered because it is in the parenthesis, that is 5 minus 1 is 4. And then what we are going to do, so we are observed here there is a multiplication symbol, and then now we are going to take this entire expression again within that expression. So this will be the first expression. So whatever the expression, whatever the operators are there, that is the addition operator, and there are two operands. So that get evaluated, and we can see the result here. So then we have retained the divisions symbol here, and then so we have taken now this expression, that is 3 minus 1. So now in the next step what is going to happen, so we are going to represent this result, that is 3 minus 1 as 2. So this is the way internally the Python evaluates the expression. So now it is 8 divided by 2. So we all know that. So the division by default is the floating point division in Python. So that is why. So we got the result as 4.0. So and then now these two values get multiplied and the result is 16.0. So next we have to observe that the notice these rules for putting operators and values together to form expressions are a fundamental part of Python as a programming language. So that's why we are discussing this now. Later we explore further. If you type in a bad Python instruction, Python won't be able to understand it and it will display a syntax error message. So we can observe here. So whenever we type 5 plus, since it is a binary operator, so it requires two operands and then we have given only one operand. So then we can observe here. So Python going to display the display syntax error. That is nothing but it is a invalid syntax. Similarly, so we can observe another example here, that is 42 plus 5, then plus, and then multiplication and the operator then into 2. So here, since these are the binary operators and there is a dilemma for the Python interpreter, that so which particular operation has to be executed, whether it is the addition operation or the multiplication operation. So that is why we can observe here we have given this, but here at the prayer we have given the plus operator. So there is a dilemma here. So then we can observe here there is a syntax error, that is the invalid syntax. So next we focus on the data types. So let us understand one by one what are data types. A data type is a category for values and every value belongs to exactly one data type. One more interesting stuff here is our programming language knows about data and then there is no need to explicitly specify the type of the data. So let us understand one by one. The text type is represented as the string type, that is str. That is, the numeric types are represented as integer, floating point, then complex number. And then the sequence types, that is the list, tuple, and the range. And the mapping type as a dictionary. And the Boolean type as bold. That is nothing but there are two values, that is the true and false. True represents the value 1 and the false represents value 0. So next understand, so whenever we take the string type, so how we can perform string concatenation and replication. So now in Python, the string is represented as a collection of characters and it has to be enclosed between the single quotes or the double quotes. So we have taken the two string values and then we have used the addition operation here. So it in operator here, that is whenever I try to use this addition operation, it indicates what? So we are concatenating these two strings and we can see the result. And then these two are concatenated and altogether we can see it is enclosed between the quotes. And we can observe here. So when we give the wrong data. So we can observe here. So we have given the string data and then so we have used the addition operation, that is for the concatenation, and then we have given an integer value. So when the actually the concatenation going to takes place, when we have given two string variables. So but here so we have given one string variable and another is the integer type, that is the string value and then the integer type. So that is why we got the type error, that is can't convert the integer object to string implicitly. That is nothing but each and everything in Python is an object. So our integer, floating type, they all nothing but what? The whenever you use a particular numeric type or anything, it belongs to what? That particular class. That is nothing but object of that class. So next we can see the replication operation. For example, this string value has to be replicated by 5 times. So we can see here. So what is the result? So when we use the multiplication symbol and then we have given the integer value next to this and then we can see here, so the word Alice, it is multiplied by, that is nothing but it is replicated, that is 5 times because we are using the multiplication symbol here. And we can also observe the one more important stuff, that is when I give two string values and then I have used the multiplication symbol. So then what is going to happen? So here, so there is no chances of the replication, because in order to do the replication, so we have to give the integer value. But here we have given the string value. Since our language knows about the data, so it is going to give you the error as what? The type error. It can't multiply the sequence by a non-integer type, that is string. And then also we can observe here, then the word, that is the string, that is multiplied, that is we are using the multiplication operator, and then we have used the floating point. So we can here also the operation won't be executed, because again we get the type error, because we can't multiply the sequence by non-integer type float. So that is why care should be taken that only in the specific the way, whenever we try to give the expressions, that is nothing but we can fix the statements over here. Only those statements get executed. That is nothing but the syntax or the rules of the programming language. So if we are violating these rules, so we are going to get the errors. Until and unless we are going to rectify the error, so we are not able to get the desired results. Next is storing values in variables. What is a variable? Variable is like a box in the computer memory where you can store a single value. If you want to use the result of an evaluated expression later in your program, you can save it inside a variable. So we store values in variables with an assignment statement. An assignment statement consists of a variable name and an equal sign, that is nothing but we also call it as assignment operator, and the value to be stored. For example, let us consider the variable name as spam, and then we have assigned with an integer value. Then the variable name spam will have an integer value 42 stored in it. So now let us observe in this picture, that is with the variables. So now what are variables actually? Variables are nothing but what? So they are going to assign, get the values, that is its values will be varied, that is throughout the program, that is it can be varied. So now what may be the recently assigned value will be what considered or further used in the program. So if the values are altered recently, that recent altered values will be used. So we can observe here. So we are, whenever we use the variable, when we try to assign some value, it is like telling the program that variable spam now has the integer value 42 in it. So can we change this? Yes, in the later next but we can observe here that as we can assign this spam is equal to something like 50.0. So then, so it is going to store the floating point value. So like that, whatever the value we are going to recently assign, so that value will be what stored, and the previous value will be values was forgotten. So now we can observe here. So we have assigned the value 40, and then we try to display this. So we got the result as 40. And then here we have assigned another integer variable, and we can see because variable name it keep on varying, and then we can say here that as we have performed the addition here with respect to these two variables, so we got the result as 42, that is 40 plus 2. And then we can also observe here, so we have added three different variables, that is nothing but the values over here so are considered, that is nothing but the 40, then 2, then again plus 40, that is nothing but 82. And then we can also update the value, that is we can give the variable name, that is which holds the value, and then the updation, and we can see the result as 42. We can observe here, so when a new value is assigned to a variable, the old one is forgotten. So we can observe here, so when we have assigned initially the hello, the string value, and then later for the same variable, we have assigned the string value as goodbye. So then hello will be taken out, and then goodbye, that is the string value will be stored here. So that is why the old one is forgotten. So next we can understand how we are going to use the variable name. So you can name a variable anything as long as it obeys the three rules. Let us go one by one. It can be only one word with no spaces. It can use only letters, numbers, and the underscore character, and it can't begin with a number. So what is a good variable? Good variable name describes the data it contains. So let us go with some of the examples. These are considered as some of the valid variable names and then invalid variable names. So we can see here that as current underscore balance is a valid one because we can use the underscore, and we are not able to use the hyphen in this case. So current hyphen then balance. So it is not considering as the valid variable name since hyphens are not allowed. And then we can see here that as current, then capital B, then balance. It is a valid value name because we can use the letters and then that is with the case differences. And we can observe here, so we have used the gap here. There is a gap. So then we can say here the spaces are not allowed. So it is an invalid one. It is a valid one. We can use the that is the letters with the numbers. So, and we know that when we try to use the number in the beginning, so it will give you the message we can observe here. So there is an error. So what does it indicates? We can't begin with the number. So then underscore 42. So we can use the underscore. So, and we can observe here. So simply I can't use the value 42 as a variable name because it can't begin with a number. Variable name can't begin with a number. Then capital letters, that is total underscore sum, that is uppercase. The letters are used here. So it is a valid one. So, and we can observe here total, then underscore, we have used the dollar symbol. So this type of symbols, they are not allowed. And then here complete lowercase, the word that is hello. And then we can observe here, so special characters, that is we can see there is a code they have used that is not allowed as a valid variable name. So let us go with the simple way of realizing how actually Python able to give the result. That is nothing but whenever we type the statement that is evaluated and give the result. So now there are two different functions are there. That is, one is the print function and then input function. So the print function is used to display the content on the output screen. And then the input function is used to accept the data that is from the keyboard. So whenever we use the print statement and then so within this parenthesis. So whenever in the quotes, whatever the state, whatever the words we are going to provide, whatever we are specifying as a state sentence, so all that will be what displayed in the same way. So and similarly, so whatever which has been enclosed within the quotes that is displayed on our screen. So we can see in this case, hello world, then what is your name? So then we can see the output, how it is going to come. So we can see here that is hello world, and then what is your name. And similarly here, so we are reading the name. That is nothing but what our name we are going to read. So that is data we can read through the input function. So in Python, whatever we are reading from the input function by default, it is of type string type. So if we want to read the integer, floating point, or the complex number, then we have to use the type conversion. So we will understand further what is the type conversion. So we have given some messages, and then here we can observe here we have used the string concatenation. That is, for this message we are attaching this name, that is my name, and then the length of your name. So we are using the built-in function called length. So it is going to count the number of characters and then it will give you the result. So we are using in the print statement so that it can print the length of that. That is nothing but the name, how many characters are there in that. And then it will ask that message, what is your age? And we can see here that is my age is equal to this input. So now whatever value we are going to give here, so that is considered as a string type. So now next, so you will be, so we can observe here, so this is the message, and then we are using the concatenation, that is str. So please observe here carefully. So whenever we try to do some operation, because it is already with the as a string representation, so we are converting into the integer, that is it is converted to integer, and then in order to do the operation, so we can see here we are doing some operation, that is whatever the age value is there, so for that we are adding the value 1, and then further it is converted into string. So this whatever the result we got, now it is a string type, and then we are representing, next we are again using the concatenation, then in a year is concatenated with that. So overall the output will look like, you can observe here, the length of your name is 5, and then what is our age, whatever the age value that has been given. So we can see this integer is now the part of the this sentence, that is nothing but this overall, that is the sentence we can use the string type, that is the integer as a string type. So this is one of the important and easier way we can able to represent the different values with A's in Python as a output. So next we can see here the step-by-step execution of this, that is how it is actually that is converted. So we can see the type conversion here. So here I have given the, for example, given the age value as 4. So when that is when I do the typecasting, so it is converted to the value 4, that is actual integer value 4, then plus 1. So these two values get added, and whatever the result is there, so again it is converted into string, and we can see now it is enclosed within the quotes, means what? It is nothing but a string value now. And then after doing this, so we can write the statement like this, that is you will be 5 years in the next year, like that. So we can go with an example. This is the Python interactive shell. So we can give the numbers, for example, like this, and then with the variable as a equal to 20, you can see here. So then to determine the type of the variable, whether it is which type, so we can use a type function and we can type like this. So we can see here, it is a is a integer variable. It's belong to the class integer. That is nothing but a is an object of integer class. Similarly, so we can modify this. For example, I can give this as 200.7. So we can observe here, since it is a dynamic programming language, so we can see the whatever the updations we are going to do that get affected immediately. So if I say now type of A, so now we can see, and it belongs to class float now. Similarly, we can have the complex number type. So like it is in the form of, that is a plus bj. So usually the numbers will be, complex numbers will be represented in the form of a plus ib. So here it is, there is a j symbol we are going to use, that is the alphabet j is used, that is that is related to the I, that is it represents the imaginary value. So we can write, for example, the same thing, that is 3 plus something like this, 4, instead of 3 plus I4. So we are writing 3 plus 4j. So we can say this type of A, then we can see it belongs to class complex. So we can explore the similarly the string type. So we can assign either in the single quotes or with the double quotes. So we have assigned the string value hello to the variable a now. So then if we give type of a, and then we can see it belongs to the class string.